Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and the overnight ratings for Legend of the Sea Devils has come out. And I have a review up for this episode on my channel. You can link it above. And it wasn't great. It wasn't political garbage like a lot of her era has been, but it was just generic dog shit rather than aggressive dog shit. And it seems most people agree because, yeah, the overnight ratings are out. And these are unofficial, but this person here is a reputable source who works for the BBC. So these are tentatively active or accurate numbers, but they're not officially released yet. So there's a tiny grain of salt, but most likely true. Last night's Doctor Who Easter special had an overnight rating of 2.2 million. It was the 11th most watched program of the day, which means 10 other programs on Easter Sunday got higher numbers on BBC alone than this episode. That means millions upon millions of people tuned in and saw that Doctor Who was on. It's like, I'm going to watch British Got Talent instead, or Antiques Roadshow. Not this. I can't believe it. I love it. I love it. This was correctly predicted by Gary Beekler over at Nerdrotic. He said this was going to be the lowest rated episode of her run because no one cares right now. They're just done. They want to see her die. Her last episode, I think, will be her highest watched episode. So that'll be really interesting to see. Really looking forward to see how many people tune in just to cheer when she dies. It's probably going to be an all sad moment. In the episode, everyone's crying, but everyone in the audience is going to be fucking cheering when that death finally arrives. And we'll see how it all turns out with the next Doctor and if Russell can turn it around. But 2.2 million overnight is bad. And it's kind of weird. This is actually the first episode that doesn't have a Rotten Tomatoes section. I searched for it for a while. They had Eve of the Daleks up and ready to go before the episode even dropped. But they don't even have this episode available to review on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Very interesting, very odd. And yeah, even compared to, this is her entire run on the show. In season 11, her lowest rated episode was 5.07 million. Starting out at 8.2. 8.2 was decently high. Everyone was tuning in to see if the female Doctor was actually going to work. But by the end of the series, it had dropped down to 5, which is pretty bad of all Doctor Who across all the years. Even in her first season, she dropped down pretty low. Not the lowest, but very low. A lower end of the spectrum for viewership. And then in her second season, she was consistently below that lowest from season 11. Her highest one was 4.88 million people, and that was her first one. A lot of people were hoping that they would have turned it around after this dog shit, but then after that first episode, they realized that they weren't going to turn it around. It was going to still be just as bad as it had been the last year, and then it just cycled lower and lower until it got all the way down to 3.71 was the lowest that she received in that era. And that's really bad. If this was already concerning and terrible, what is this? This is really bad. It jumped up a little bit for the special, got up pretty high. And then this is the Flux, which was the last season, season 13. Still on a downward trend. And this was, I believe, the lowest rated episode of all time out of nearly 60 years worth. And I'm only going off overnight numbers right now. I know the consolidated numbers are a little bit higher, but as of right now, we only have the overnight viewership for this episode, so I'm going to focus on the overnight. But yeah, the New Year special was the lowest rated episode of all Doctor Who time, and this one was 1 million lower. An entire million less people tuned into this episode. That is terrible. Holy fuck. And yeah, actually Doctor Who TV is officially reporting this number, so we're going to call this fact at this point, because holy fucking shit. They can't even get the lowest of all time. They're 1 million lower than the lowest of all time. If the next one wasn't the Regeneration special, I think they could have dipped down below 2 million people watching Doctor Who. And a franchise that has a worldwide audience, that is terrible. That is aggressively terrible. And it kind of sucks to see. I don't like seeing Doctor Who being in the dumps that it is currently because I love this franchise. But partially, love seeing this because let's hope everyone realizes at the BBC and Bad Wolf and Russell T Davies that they really need to make a strong course correction. This isn't just going to be ignore this era. This is going to be erase this era, or you're not getting back the millions of people who have been dropping out progressively over just her last season alone. So we'll see if that number will get even higher. It looks like most of the time you gain about a million, maybe if you're lucky, a million more viewership in the consolidated. So it might pop up above 3 million barely after consolidated, but we'll have to see if it actually makes it that high. And, I just love seeing Chris Chibnall's era summarily ignored after he destroyed the canon of one of the most beloved worldwide franchises to ever exist. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.